Esteemed participants, thank you for joining us for the webinar on crisis management and communication for managers. The feedback link will be shared at the end of the session in the Google Meet chat box. Kindly request you to fill and submit the feedback form within 15 minutes to receive the e-certificate. Thank you. The session will start sharply at 11 o'clock. Thank you.
A very warm welcome to all the participants. We would be starting the session sharp 11 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining with us. If some of the participants have joined in directly with the Google Meet link and have not registered, kindly type your name and email ID so that we can facilitate the e-certificate for the same.
Good morning, sir.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Sir, you have to unmute your mic.
Yeah, now?
Yes,
now you can.
Yes, very clearly, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Professor Reena.
Yeah, sir.
So we have
would
some more time?
Yeah, 11 o'clock sharp we will start, sir.
Okay, so now it is
53, sir. 10:53.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. You can take 5 minutes, sir.
Right. No problem.
Yes, sir.
So who are the students?
So we have a mixture of MBA students, journalism students.
Oh, journalism students are also there?
Yeah, Indian Academy group of institutions, autonomous, we have journalism also, sir.
Oh, very good. Oh, then that's very good. I didn't know. I thought they were only MBA students.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's really good. I'm happy that the journalism students are also there.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good. So I hope it will be interesting. Are they postgraduate students?
That's a separate department. I think, sir, PG or maybe the graduates, I think so.
Oh, graduates. Okay. No, it doesn't matter, but I just want to know about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಮಾನ್ಸಾ ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ ನೀವು ಡೆಕ್ಕನರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಪ್ರಜಾವಾಣಿಲಿ ಇದ್ದೆ ನಿರಂಜನ್ ಸರ್.
ಹೌದಾ?
ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಂ ಸರ್, ನಾನೇ ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಂ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರ್. UG ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸರ್ ಇರೋದು.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿ
ಸರ್? ನಮ್ ಮಂಡ್ಯ ಸರ್.
ನೌ ಐ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಯು. ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಸರ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ದು ಬಂದಾಗ ನೆನಪಾಯ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್, UG ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಹೌದು.
ನೈಸ್
ಸರ್. UG ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಮುಖ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು.
ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಿದ್ದೇನಾ ಸರ್?
ನೌ ಐ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಯು ಸೋ ವೆಲ್ ಮನ್ಸಾ. ಎಸ್.
ಸರ್, ಆರಾಮಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್?
ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ?
ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಷ ಸರ್ 2010 ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ
ನಾನು 11ಗೆ I came to Mysore.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್
So nice, Mansa. Professor Mansa. I also Professor Mansa, no?
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
Thank you so much. ನನಗೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಈಗ.
ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್.
ಸರಿ ನನಗೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಸಿಕ್ತು. I thought I should not miss this.
ಸರ್ ನಮ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ವಿಷಯ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂತಾರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಸರ್. ತುಂಬಾ
ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಯ್ತು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ
ಸರ್? ಯುಜಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್.
ಇಬ್ರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಬೆಟರ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇರ್ಬೋದು
ಸರ್? ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್
87 sir as of now.
ಹೌದಾ? 47.
87 sir. Yeah.
87.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The way it's put that it's a online course.
So it's so nice that you could meet your students, sir. So this was
No. Professor Reena, see what happens is the moment I saw another journalist colleague, my attention completely turned to her. I forgot you for some time. So you were instrumental in all this. This is what happens all the time, I think. You find somebody from your own fraternity, somebody from your own country or something, then that attention immediately shifts.
That is quite natural, sir. That's quite natural.
So for a second I had forgotten that there is Professor Reena talking. The moment I heard about Mansa and
okay.
So nice it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to reconnect once again.
It's nice. Life is full of surprises. This is what is called serendipity.
Yes, sir.
And as long as they are pleasant, it is very good.
Exactly, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And in present circumstances, pleasant is very difficult to find because we are surrounded with a lot of unpleasantness.
Lot of unpleasantness all around us.
Yes, sir.
It's a huge challenge, especially for the coming generation and also youngsters like you who are there in the thick of things.
Yes, sir.
That is what it is, I think.
Yeah.
Did you have a class earlier?
So we are with the MBA. MBA students have actually completed their.
No. There are a couple of people who are leaving. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. They must have some network issues, sir.
Oh, is it?
Some of our students may be in remote places, so they may not have continuity as far as connectivity.
Oh, Professor,
they will reach out.
Is there?
Yeah, sir.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Professor Basha sir.
We have also Geeta ma'am. She's the head of English department, sir.
Oh my God.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, Professor Geeta.
Nanu Mysore navlu, sir.
Oh, what more do I want? ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. Mysore again, Professor Reena, see one more connection I have.
Yeah.
Mysoreans, we are very proud Mysoreans.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it, Professor Geeta?
Thank you, sir. It's nice meeting you here.
Same here. Where are you? Where do you live in Mysore? Are you?
Mysore, Vijayanagar, second stage, sir.
I'm right now sitting in Vijayanagar, third stage. Just on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Did you do your post-graduation from Mysore University?
Yes, sir. Graduation, post-graduation, PUC, ella alle.
Ella Mysore. Oh,
ella
great.
Mysore.
Oh.
Now Appata Mysore avaru.
Appata, Shuddha. Now, Kandita, Shuddha Mysore, Appata Mysore.
Nice to have you on our virtual channel, sir.
Thank you. Same
Thank you very much.
I think Professor Reena is bringing surprises after surprises. I never expected this,
It is very kind of all of them to join, sir. We are actually the MBA department, but Maths from English department, Manasa is from journalism. So very kind of them to join along with their students.
I'm truly honored and humbled because all the professors are there. I don't know whether I'll live up to your standards. I hope I will do something.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you, Professor Geeta.
Okay. So it's 11, so we'll start the session.
Yeah, can start.
I think it's one of the happiest sessions that we've ever had in all the webinars, with so much of introduction and connectivity which has come through.
Yeah, thank you.
A very good morning to all of you. I'm Dr. Reena Sham, head of the department at ISMS, and I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Whoever controls the media controls the mind, Jim Morris. The importance of media has grown exponentially over the last century. The world has grown into a global village, and the primary reason for this being the rapid influence of communication and technology. Media is deeply rooted in our lives as well as business. Organizations today have to acknowledge the vital influence that media has on its brand and image. There's a growing need for organizations to plan how to communicate internally and externally, especially in the event of crises. Today's session on crisis media management and communication for managers would enable our students to learn the fundamentals of managing media communication in times of crises. We have with us a media industry veteran, experienced, extremely knowledgeable speaker. Let me give you a brief about our resource person for today. Mr. N. Niranjan Nikam, who is presently a freelance journalist. Third, independently works on memoirs, coffee table books, edits fiction and non-fiction, co-authors autobiographical books, offers archival research with his wife, Dr. Pamela Sanan. To share with you Sir's industry experience, Sir has worked as features editor for the Star of Mysore between 2017 and 19, consultant for the Centenary Celebrations, University of Mysore between 2014 and 17, PR consultant and guest faculty, Sri Sri Media School of Bangalore between 2013 and 14, Chief of Bureau, Deccan Herald, Mysore between 2011 and 13, Senior Sub-Editor, Deccan Herald between 2008 and 11, Chief Sub-Editor, Deccan Chronicle, Bangalore between 2008, Senior Sub-Editor, Deccan Herald, Bangalore between 2006 and 8, Senior Sub-Editor, Vijaya Times, Bangalore 2004 and 6, Public Relations Officer, Vidya Vikas Engineering College, Mysore between 2003 and 2004, Corporate Communication Manager, Indus Valley Ayurvedic Center between 2001 and 2002. Sir has also been the Chief Sub-Editor of Star of Mysore between 1995 and 2001. Sir has interviewed several celebrities, to name a few, the Most Holy Dalai Lama, cinematographer and Dada Saheb Phalke Award winner, V.K. Murthy, Sudha Murthy, several Bollywood celebrities, Rekha, Amir Khan, the Kannada thespian Dr. Rajkumar, Saroja Devi, to name a few. Sir also writes several works of literature, to name a few: 100 Years of University of Mysore between 1916 and 2016, 100 Years of Rotary in India between 1920 and 2020. Some of the books that he's edited: An Era of Enlightenment, Trajectories and Summits. His archival research includes Aga Ali Asghar. Sir has also delivered several talks with All India Radio. We are extremely grateful, sir, that you've accepted our invitation and consented to be the resource person for today's session. I now request sir to take over the session and address our students.
Thank you, Professor Reena, for that warm introduction. And before the starting of this, it was a very pleasant surprise for me to run into my former colleague, Manasa,
yes,
the
sir.
of journalism, and also the lady from Mysore, Geeta, Professor
Yes,
Geeta. So
yes,
what more do I want? It's a very, very, humble this thing for me, start, because simply because, Professor Reena called me last week, and asked me to whether I could give a lecture on this subject. So, and of course, I should also remember Professor Cynthia Menezes from Canada School of Banking,
Yes,
who
sir.
introduced me to
Yeah.
Reena. So it's
Yes.
a great time for me, because at this stage in our lives, when we think we have done something, the only thing we can do is share whatever little we know with the coming generation. And I'm so happy that according to what Professor Reena told me, there are a lot of students from the MBA and also journalism. So it's and I believe there are some from literature department also. So
Yes, sir.
at this point in time, I'm quite nervous, because what happens is, as a journalist, you have the advantage of asking questions than answering them.
Yes,
It
sir.
always happens all the time, because as we say, you are not on the hot seat. When you are on the hot seat, you will realize what the problems are. So
Yes,
all
sir.
my life, I have asked questions, and it has been my forte, interviewing people and all that. But once
Yes,
you are on
sir.
the other side, you really realize. But thankfully for me, I have been, on the other side also, as they call the hot seat, and been interacting with students and others for quite some time now. So that is what is giving me the confidence to accept this lecture. And
Yes,
let
sir.
me start
Yes,
now.
sir.
It's again welcome to all of you. Namaskara ellarigu. The whole purpose of this lecture is being a media person, and basically, let me at the outset tell you that I'm basically from the print media, and this webinar is on crisis media management and communication for managers. So, what is it that we are trying to talk about today? The first thing, as Professor Reena in her introduction talking about the media rightly pointed out, media is the most powerful medium today for various reasons. And as future managers or people, as journalism students who are there, who are out to become journalists in uh, various fields, in the various fields of media, or literature students who are also could also be interested in media, the most important thing is the communication. That is what the whole purpose of anything in life is. How you communicate. That's the only way that you can, make wonders also, because that's what I've always felt. The way you communicate is the way you win many battles. And more than that, I don't like to use this word battles, because that is being used a lot nowadays. Warriors, corona warriors, that warriors, this warriors, and all that. But basically, I would say that it would be interesting to understand people, understand what is happening around us, and try to communicate whatever we learn. That is the most important purpose. And being in the media, especially print media, what you need is to communicate through writing. So that is another skill that all of you need to have, and if you don't have, to work hard to develop it. Now, as what is actually the media? As Professor Reena quoted Jim Morrison, there is another person, a famous author, who claimed the following lines about the power of media. I think he was talking too much about it, but still I thought I will quote what he has said. There are two forces that can carry the light to all corners of the world. One is the sun in the heavens, and another is the media down the earth. Imagine this author is going ballistic about media, comparing it to the sun in the heavens and the media is down the earth. So that is how powerful the media is, especially nowadays. Especially nowadays. In today's contemporary society, freedom of the press or freedom of the media are powerful tools which have the potential to disclose sensitive, classified, or secret information if it holds relevance to protect the national interest. So you all know how powerful this thing is, but of course there are a lot of things that are happening nowadays which we can question. But anyway, this is what the so-called press freedom or the media freedom is all about. And as Professor Reena rightly said, by quoting Jim Morrison, whoever controls the media controls the mind. So that is how powerful we as media people are. And, because I feel very strongly about media, because according to me, there are three professions we don't need a background. I tell you, because one is acting. You don't need a background to become an actor strictly. You know, if somebody has a good face or somebody finds something, then you know, they pick you up and you become an actor. So you don't really need a background. The other is politics. You don't need a background to be a politician. You know, I always give this famous example of you know, the former chief minister of Bihar, Lalu Prasad Yadav, making his wife Rabri Devi the chief minister when he went to jail. So you don't really, a woman in the kitchen became a chief minister. So you don't really need a background. Maybe she has learned many things being with her husband. The fact remains that she had no knowledge about politics as such. The third I say is, without a background, anybody can become a journalist. I myself am a good example because I didn't study journalism. I did my philosophy MA, and you know, here I am. You know, I became a journalist at the age of 40. Before that, I was a businessman. So there are opportunities for people at every stage in life. That is what in short, I wanted to tell you about this, because so there are now that students are out there from different departments like MBA, journalism and literature. So I'm straight away setting the table for what kind of things, the opportunities that you could have in the future, especially considering now the COVID times, the Corona times, which was the least expected in anybody's this thing. You know, I'm 65 today. None of us expected that there could be a pandemic like this all over the world. You know, so that is what it is. Pandemic means it's all over the world. So we are experiencing this in our lifetime, which we never thought. And incidentally, you know, 2020 is supposed to be a perfect vision. You know, this is the since all of you are youngsters out there, most of you have a 2020 perfect vision. But unfortunately, what has happened, 2020 has turned out to be the most imperfect year. It has gone to such an extent that we would all love to wipe out 2020 from our calendar. That is how bad things are today, especially because of the pandemic that is there. So indeed, media has the power to control minds of its viewers, audiences, and guide them through the path to follow a particular notion or belief. This is completely happening today. Let me tell you this. This was not there in the past, but this is completely happening, controlling the mind of the viewer, the audiences, and even, you know, channel them through their particular thought. So that is one thing. The next is, I would come to what is the role of the Indian media. As per the report of the internet worldstats.com, India is the second largest user of internet in the world after China. There is 30% internet penetration in India, with 3.75 million people having access to internet in some form. This was probably statistics about 2 years ago. Definitely, I'm sure it must have gone up. So we have this internet penetration, and that is how we are all here today, because of the internet. And in spite of the pandemic, we are having now virtual classes, online classes. So that is in a way, it is the best thing that has happened. How much online classes will really help, only time will help. But right now, it's a good medium. At least we are able to use this at the right time now, during the time of pandemic. In addition, it is also interesting to know that the size of Indian television industry, people, students who are out there interested in the television media, with regards to the revenue earned from subscribers who are rendering the television services, and the revenue that is earned from television media, you know, is actually, I believe, the revenue earned from the subscription to the various channels is much more than the revenue earned from the advertisements. Now, why do I emphasize on this? Because as media persons, especially in the print media that I come from, basically, we always have come to understand that a print media, any newspaper, can survive only on advertisements and not on subscription. Because in India, the subscription cost is less than half of the paper cost. For instance, if a paper, it takes at least, nowadays, at least 8 to 10 rupees to produce. The papers are being sold at 2 rupees, 3 rupees, 5, 6, and something like that, which is definitely, it is on the negative side. But I believe in the television media, it is the subscriptions that is driving it, and not the advertisement. This is something that was quite a surprising thing for me, which I thought I should share with you. Now, before I go to other things, I thought that I found an interesting statistics. Media jobs after MBA or in journalism, also it is possible, and literature students can also note this. What are the jobs? I'll just tell you, because right now this is not the right time to talk about it, but hope is one thing that man lives on. Hope is the only thing that man lives on all the time. So as to, especially as students now, you have a long way to go. There are various challenges that you face. But I thought, let me just give you some hope. You know, if there are jobs that are there on offer, this is what it is. Their job profile and the salary offered. The job profile: media strategist, rupees 2 lakh to 3 lakh. Marketing analyst, rupees 4 lakh. This is for the MBA. Media manager, again, MBA students could think about it, and even the journalism. Media manager, 4,50,000. Digital media producer, I'm sure many of you are doing a lot of things digitally. It is 4,50,000. These are all per year salaries, not per month. Digital media assistant, rupees 3 lakhs. Corporate communication head, of course, that you have to take quite some time to reach that stage. It is 8 lakhs, and channel head, rupees 10 lakh. So these are some of the opportunities that are there, you know, if you come to the media. Of course, to the flip side is, I talk to many of my young colleagues who are there, out there in the media, in the print or the television, and this scenario is not something that we can all be happy about, but I'm sure things will turn around. As I said, hope is a big thing for all of us, so let's live on hope. And also, of course, you have to perform. And now, what is the curriculum you know, in the MBA, for instance? The curriculum makes students better at formulating successful strategic public relation campaigns, handling media relations and crisis, better public relations and event management, because these are also some of the places where you can think of, and getting accustomed to the latest public affair practices. In fact, public affairs is a huge thing. One of my friends who was in the media, who had worked for many magazines and newspapers, is today one of the top heads of public affairs in Google right now. So there are opportunities for students to think of all this. You know, these are thoughts that could stay in your mind. Just put it at the back of your mind. At some time, if there are opportunities, you can always think of it, how to grow and how to, you know, grab chances whenever they are there. And this is what my friend, his name is Chetan Krishnaswamy. He's the one who's the public affairs head of Google. So he smartly made a move. He made a very smart move, moving from media to the public affairs, you know, as the corporate head and all that of public relations. So that is one thing that is there. The students also have the ability to adapt, as media industry is one of the most volatile sectors, which brings about frequent changes and new trends. For example, now this is where, again, very important, the traditional mediums of print, television, and radio seem to be losing ground to smartphones, raising the demand for more specialists in communication and media management. So this is very important now. Smartphones, all of us, majority are there who are using smartphones, and many of you might have logged in through the smartphones. Of course, I am working on the desktop right now because I feel comfortable in that. But smartphones, all of you have. So so there is a demand for more specialists in communication and media management who can handle this through the smartphones. So more than the print, television, and the radio now, there is demand for this new digital media. There's a huge demand. Growth of communication and media industry, let me come to that. Gone are the days when people had to wait for hours or even days to get updated on the news or convey important message, which the boom in India and technology industry, receiving and transmitting information is literally on the tip of one's fingers. So it is there now. The very fact that you are all there and just Google Chacha, as we call, anything you want, whatever I'm telling now, I'm sure it is available on the media. Whatever your teachers talk about, it is already there on the media. Google gives you everything, as we call it, the Google Chacha. The moment you Google anything, everything, it is already there. So the challenge is how to, you know, channelize all those information that we have. And as we say, it is the period of knowledge explosion. We have complete knowledge explosion. It is unbelievable what, especially people of our generation who have seen the radio, the rise of the radio, then the television, of course, and the print media, which is the one of the first that came. It is simply unbelievable that today I can watch matches on the smartphone. You know, that is something that we could never think of. My friends in the US who are all working for big companies, they told this about 30 years ago that this is the revolution that is going to come about. But we all thought it is just a fiction, you know. Now the fiction has become reality. The coronavirus itself, there was a movie called Contagion. You know, this was made in 2011 or 12, I think. And whatever is happening today, everything you can see in that movie, just frame by frame, is almost what it is. So we don't know now what is fiction, what is, you know, many of these things could become a reality in our own lifetime, as we have seen the explosion of the pandemic in front of our faces. And there was a movie made, you know, replicating this a couple of years ago. Now, let me come to one example, you know, because see what happens is, see, as experts, we make a lot of predictions. You know, today I might say that, you know, media industry right now is in the doldrums, but a couple of years from now, it could be, you know, the figures are unimaginable. All these people are used to, especially the MBA guys who do all these things, they know they are used to fancy figures. So this is what, you know, the director of Symbiosis Institute of Management, Media and Communication, Pune, she said, her name is Dr. Ruchi K. Jaggi, and I quote, "The latest FICCI KPMG report has projected the media industry in India to be Indian rupees 2,260 billion by 2020. This is the year. And she had projected this figures about, I don't know, 3-4 years back, 2,260 billion rupees. I don't know how much that is. All you guys out there can work and tell me how much it is, you know, the billion by 2020. The same report pegs digital advertising to occupy more than 25% of the total advertising pie by then. She also adds, this projection indicates stupendous growth and unprecedented opportunities for professionals who can make sense of media business and chart new pathways and directions therein. So she says, can make sense of media business and chart new pathways and directions therein. This is what I would call the Atmanirbhar that we are all talking about. And, you know, everybody is talking about this Atmanirbhar, that you all have to start more than, you know, going for jobs, you should provide jobs, is what the leaders are talking about. But unfortunately, see, this is what happens. Now, nobody expected a pandemic. None of us expected that the world could turn topsy-turvy like this. And, you know, so these kind of projections can go completely awry. So where do we stand? Now, again, we have to look back and see. So all of us have to be vigilant all the time. This is what now, this is where it leads to the crisis. What is a crisis? Now, if somebody talks like this, and then you have the projections, then you believe because somebody is an expert and they have talked about it, but then there is this topsy-turvy world, where, you know, so how do you handle these kind of things? Before I come to that, there is also what is called a social media MBA. This is what I thought I should share with you. What is a social media MBA program? What is it? If people are interested, they can further, you know, improve their, you know, profile. This is one option. I believe it is there. You have to, again, look for this, what it is about. I thought I'll just leave this thought with you. A social media MBA combines the business circulation of an MBA program with the psychology, social sciences, research, marketing analysis, and liberal arts skills, among other areas that define corporate and other organizations, social media presences. These are newer degree programs, which means there is less of them, fewer graduates of them, and they are animated by professions in the fields using the latest information and real world examples of social media business efforts. So what I've been talking about all this, there is this social media MBA, I believe. So maybe you can, to enhance your profile, maybe if some of you have the resources to do that, then you can also think of the social media MBA, because it will take quite some time for us to return to normal in this world. So if the only way out is to acquire more knowledge, more degrees, if you can, during this time of pandemic, that is what I say. Professor Reena, do we have some questions, or shall I finish it? How do we go about?
If any of the students or the participants have any questions on this juncture, you can please put it in the chat box. So we could keep the questions in the conclusion of the session.
Okay.
You can continue, sir.
Yeah. I'll continue. Now, see, coming to the part that this talk is all about, crisis management and communication for managers. This is what the topic is. And now this is the most important part, because why did I think of it? In fact, about 10 years back, I think more than 10 years, it was in 2008, 6 or 8, when Professor Cynthia Menezes from this Canara Bank School of Management, who happens to be a good friend of mine, I told her, look, the most important thing that the students need is to understand the media. And what is it that they need, especially if they are ready, because these things, I don't know how much is taught, these things are taught about in the media schools or anywhere to handle the media. That is the most important thing, because at least if you have some knowledge about, especially as I keep repeating about the media explosion today, and especially the rise of the social media. So then, of course, when I told about this, the social media had not, was not so much there in the public domain. But now social media has completely engulfed every sphere of our life. So I had proposed this idea, and we had held a seminar then, where experts had come and spoken about the crisis management for the media. Many people from the industry had come and spoken there. So even after now 14 years down the line, I think the same thing is true. What is then, what is now, and I think it will continue to remain a fact of life, that you have to understand crisis management, especially if you are going to join the industry, whether they have it in them to talk about these things or not. The companies have this nowadays. I'm sure most of the companies have, but you as students, if you are attuned to this in some way or the other, then I think it will help you to if there's a crisis in your organization, how to handle them. If you can, I'm sure there will be smart leaders there in your organization, but still you have some idea about it. Maybe it could help somebody in the organization. Now, how to handle a crisis? For instance, there are a lot of industries that are facing the crisis today. For the best thing that the recent example, last week I had thought of different examples, but the best example that is there today is, the Chinese smartphone manufacturer Vivo, which was the title sponsor for the IPL. I'm sure all of you know the IPL is going to be held from next month. I think I forget the date right now. November, September, I think it starts. So so the Vivo was the title sponsor. But what happened, because of so much of anti-China things, they decided that they will withdraw. Now, this is what a report in the Economic Times says. Chinese smartphone manufacturer Vivo has opted out of the Indian Premier League title sponsorship after disagreement with the Indian Cricket Board over a discount on the sponsorship fee, and in response to growing opposition to a Chinese brand backing the tournament following the Galwan standoff. So this is the reason why the Chinese have backed off. They said, if there is so much thing, we can't do anything about it. We are going to quit. We are going to come out of this. But top officials of Board of Cricket in India told Economic Times that Vivo had been looking for a reduction in the sponsorship, some due to the COVID-19 situation, and decided to sit one out as anti-China sentiment intensified over the past 2 days. Now the Chinese are very smart. Let me tell you, there is so much of anti-Chinese sentiment right now because of whatever is going on. But we have not understood what China is. I've been reading a lot about China from a long time. I've also written some blog posts on this. let me tell you, what China is, I wish we were. Of course, there are various reasons for that, but I'll just tell you. Officials said, now this is very important. Officials, who are the officials? The BCCI officials said, Vivo executives had been trying to get some clarity on IPL since June, but BCCI did not pay any attention. Now look what the Chinese were doing. They were already trying to sound out because they had seen the sentiments. They were trying to talk to the BCCI officials, but as usual, being what we are, we think we are the know-all people. Let me tell you, as Indians, we think we know everything under the sun. That is the biggest problem we have, and that is why we are where we are even after 70 years. That is the biggest problem. Now, because of that, now first we thought and so Vivo smartly has done the right thing by telling that we are not going to sponsor. So this is a crisis management which Vivo, the Chinese manufacturers, have smartly done. This is very important. And let me tell you something about China so that you understand, because they are economically, China is a powerhouse. Let us all accept it. Way back after the Chinese war, the Chinese leader Xi Jinping, he said that he gave a slogan to China: hide your strength, bide your time. Now we should all know about these things. Hide your strength, bide your time. What does it mean? It meant very simply that China, nobody knew what China was doing. The advantage they have, which it's a communist country, so they control everything. And the media is controlled so much there in that country. You don't have the freedom of speech at all in China that way. But still, slowly they started building their economy, and so now they are dominating. Now there is, after Russia, now it is the China-US war that is going on. The Cold War that is going on. So China has been, we cannot ignore China in any way, whether we like it or not. There are so many things happening. The only way we can do it is you youngsters to come up on your own, do things that are required to build this economy. To build the nation, you have to build the economy, and without showing off. None of us need to show off what we are doing. First, we will do things quietly, then we will come and show to the world. Unfortunately, that is not happening in our country today. Chest thumping is all that is happening more than what we need to do. So this is something I thought I should share with the youngsters. Now, there's a couple of crises, for instance, in Mysore, now we had this Jubilant Generics, which is now manufactured just Jubi-R, a treatment for COVID-19, so they have come out with a treatment, but this company was closed down because the first cases in Mysore district was from here, the Jubilant company. So there was a huge thing. As Mysoreans, as Professor Geeta was telling, we are all proud Mysoreans, but because this pandemic was there, the COVID thing had happened in Nanjangud. So we all, as Mysoreans, felt, no, there is nothing happened, nothing has happened, Mysore is COVID-free, but unfortunately, it has happened in Nanjangud, so we are also attacked with that, but Mysore is. But now look what is happening today. The experts, the virologists, everybody had predicted that the coronavirus explosion is going to happen in the months of July, August, September. And imagine people, many of you are sitting in Bangalore today. And just this morning, a friend of mine called to tell me that one of his cousins, a 65-year-old lady, passed away, and there was nobody near her body. Her own brother didn't come. Her husband's brother didn't come. So that is the situation we are in today. So there are so many things that are happening around us today. And as students, you have to learn to understand everything around you. That is what it is. So how to handle a crisis in these situations? If you are in a company, the Jubilant Generics, which, it was shut down for a few days, but being the company that they are, it's a multi-million-dollar company. So they were able to manage it. And now they have even come out with a vaccine. Their PR department was very smart in addressing the situation because, a lot of interference was there from the politicians, but they managed to steer off this problem simply because they told what is real, what has happened, they told. So that is one of the main things in the crisis management. What is how to manage a crisis? By telling truth. This is what it says, how to handle a crisis. Suppose there is a crisis and you have to address the media. Then these are some of the points that I've noted down. Avoid the phrase "no comment" because people think it means the organization is guilty and trying to hide something. This, this "no comments" thing is something that most of the politicians do if they are in trouble. They always say "no comments." So if you, as the manager in a company, if there is a crisis, if something has happened, like it happened for the Vivo or in the Jubilant Generics case, if there is something like that, don't say "no comment," because that means, as it says, you probably then we as media pounce on these things. That means there is something you are hiding. So always I feel very strongly, I always feel that we should speak the truth. That is the only thing that will save us every time. Because as they say, once you speak the truth, you can forget about it. But once you start lying, every time you have to remember. So this is one of the most important messages that we can all carry. Present information clearly by avoiding jargon or technical terms. Lack of clarity makes people think the organization is purposely being confusing in order to hide something. Now we have this acronym Jamana now. For everything you have an acronym. So most of the times you don't understand what it is. Udan is a very great example. Ude Desh ke Aam Nagrik. Fine, it is fine, but suddenly every time I forget, I used to write a lot about Udan. Every time I have to look at, go back and see what the expansion is. So we are in the period of acronyms that is there for a long time, but try to be clear, explain things very in clear terms, be a good communicator. Appear pleasant on camera by avoiding nervous habits that people interpret as deception. A spokesperson needs to have strong eye contact, limited influences such as ums or ohs, and avoid distracting nervous gestures as fidgeting or pacing. So be very calm, you see any of the, foreign media or the people, I've seen police officers coming in front of the media there and, absolutely without any confusion, they communicate. Whatever has happened, they communicate very clearly. That's what we need to develop in this country of ours, how to handle the media, how to be a good communicator to save your organization, to save wherever you are working. It holds good even for the government as to how the government spokespersons speak when they speak to the media. Then, brief all potential spokespersons on the latest crisis information and the key message points. Now, the most important thing about this is the media relations element of public relations is a highly valued skill in crisis management. So, as this talk is all about how to manage a crisis, this is so public relations personnel in the company, they need to understand how to value this skill of crisis management. That is for the companies to understand how you nurture a person to handle the crisis in a media. And as managers, if you think about this right from now, what is communication? How, if we are in a crisis situation, how we can handle this, then I think it will go a long way in helping you to progress further in your career. Now this, the last one I'll come to, the term social media crisis has been used to describe crises that emerged in or were amplified by social media. Now, because of the social media, now the explosion of social media, you need to understand how to, fight the social media, how you, attack, how you confront the social media. So that is where the smart managers, there is no doubt that managers are under pressure to react even more quickly in a crisis with the advent of internet. This always happens. Now the breaking news is a huge thing. The television people, you have this scrolls going on, the breaking news, everything is breaking news nowadays. So what happens is, in the hurry to, publish news that you are the first one, you could do damage to whatever that has happened. This has been happening time and again. The television media especially is highly guilty of this, because in the race to breaking news, so many devastations have happened. So many crises, so many lives have been lost because of this. So you have to be very careful. Whatever you do, take your time. Don't hurry up just because you're in the hurry to, be one up. Please be very alert, even at the cost of risking something that you are not the first. You have to be careful to do these things. So this is another lesson that that is there. And of course, there are a few companies like Coca-Cola, Maggi, which have all handled this crisis because of this thing, the crisis. So I think I will stop here now, and I would love some questions from you, Reena.
Yes, we have a question, sir, from Haripriya. And she asked, we can see today youth and almost everyone is influenced by social media platforms, and they are getting information traditional media.
What is it? Please, can you come back with the question?
So the youths presently are more into social media, and
Yes.
most of the information that they get from social media may not be genuine.
Yes.
It may not be truthful information. So
Yes.
what is the repercussions of this on the traditional media is what she's asking.
Yeah. See, this is, I was expecting this question because this fake news and the explosion of all this. The traditional media, let me tell you, is doing an excellent job. And when I mean by the traditional media, especially the print media, the advantage a print media has, unlike the television, is we always check facts. We always do it. Very few print media, unless it happens to be yellow journalism. Otherwise, all the time, whatever comes, we are very careful in sifting the fact from the fake news. Now there are, in fact, I'm sure many of you youngsters know that there are the social media websites which they check the fake news. There are many. Alt news is one of them. They always, you just, whatever you want to know, you just go there and check for the alt news, where you will know whether it is the truth or not. But traditional media, by and large, as journalists, as responsible newspaper organizations, they never ever, most of the times, even if something like that happens, they come back and say that the corrections and clarifications they always do. So this is always there. This traditional media has been quite careful in being very responsible.
So we have one more question from Geeta Ravi ma'am. She asked, crisis management and crisis communication are two different entities. How do we club together and get the best result through media without affecting the psyche of general public? Please throw some light with a case of your own.
Yeah. See, now that's what, with the examples that I gave, crisis management and what is that again? Please repeat that last words.
Using a case study, case of your own, could you please explain how?
Crisis management, and there are two words: crisis management and
communication and crisis
communication and management.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, this is the whole purpose of this talk is management and communication. Because see, crisis management, see, as I've been telling now, because of the explosion of the television media, now what has happened is, many times, even before the authorities know something, for instance, Nanjangud example, if you take, before the people came to know, there was this information that there was COVID-19 breakout in Nanjangud. The media, many television channels went there, and then the authorities also came to know. So now they had to manage this crisis. So now what happens? Now there is a crisis and there is the communication thing. So if you are working for an organization, the first thing that we have to do is come together and say, how do we handle this? Now, once the management takes a stand, whatever stand it is, then the stand of the management should be communicated. So that is where the management and communication comes together. The moment the management decides, so you leave, for instance, it happens even in political parties. There are very good spokespersons that they allow people to speak, because there are specialist spokespersons now. In fact, my late brother Girish Nikam was there in the media. He was in the Rajya Sabha television. So on his channel, always there would be spokespersons from a few political parties, and they always knew what they would communicate the stand of their political party. Similarly, when a crisis happens in a company, the management has to send the best communicators there to protect the stand of the management. So there is a very clear connect between the crisis management and communication, simply because these days, unlike in the past, where there was only the traditional print media, where we would have time to talk to people in the organization and then come back and write about it, and next day we would see it in the newspaper. Today, as we have said, within seconds people will know, and even before the television media reaches there, it is on the social media. Every time we see this on the social media. So there is a dual challenge of handling the television and the social media for the companies. And the communication is the only way. Clear and straight and truthful communication is the only way for everyone to survive any of the crisis.
Thank you, sir. We have a question from Jyoti, and her question is, courage is a weapon of every journalist. So do you think journalism suits everyone?
Pardon me, what's the?
Courage is the weapon for every journalist. So do you think courage. Courage is the... do you think journalism suits everyone?
I'm glad she has asked this question, because see, this is one thing that I always tell everybody. Just as I say there are 3 professions without a background, there are 3 noble professions according to me. Of course, this is something that I always share, and it's for people to accept or what. There are 3 noble professions. Which are the 3 noble professions? The 3 noble professions are, first is teaching. Okay, now Professor Reena is there, Professor Geeta is there, I know Mansi is there. So all these people are there. They are all teachers. I have great respect for teachers, because again, I always tell teachers that only if you have a passion for teaching, you should come to teaching, because you are molding the minds. The second profession is medicine, being a doctor, because being a doctor, we completely surrender to the doctors, where they heal our bodies. So that is the second noble profession. The third noble profession, according to me, is journalism. All professions are noble. There is no question about it. But since she asked this question, the courage. Now, where does this courage come from? The courage comes from the passion you need to have to be a journalist. That's the only way if you don't have that passion for journalism, please don't come to journalism. There are many other things. You can go and work in a public relations or you can go to the information department and hide behind and do something. But if you are out there on the field, doing things, carrying the camera and asking questions, writing, then please have passion to come to journalism. And courage is the only thing that, especially nowadays, there are very few courageous journalists. Let me tell you, the media is sold. As a journalist, I am telling, they have sold their souls. Media has sold their souls, period. I have no hesitation in telling this, but there are very few. And I know people who have sold their souls. Personally, I also know people who are the most courageous journalists. That is my answer.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a question from your student, Professor Mansa, and she asks, what is the freelance feature writers market? Do you have any suggestions to help our students become better feature writers?
Again, I'm glad this question is asked, because see, if you ask my own example, I've been working, I started my journalism career at the age of 40. I was a businessman earlier, and then I became a journalist. Then I realized I had writing talent. So I went to Star of Mysore, which is a local newspaper, and told them that I'm interested in this. And so the first assignment that was given to me was to write obituaries. There were 2 people who had died in Mysore, and they said you have to write obituaries about these 2 people. And I asked my editor, sir, how much time do I get? He said, Niranjan, journalism is like fish. It stings the very next day. So it is for you to give me when you want. So the very next day, I went and gave my report, the obituary report. For the first time, that was my first, exposure. A full page was given to me. There were 2 people, one a businessman, another doctor who had passed away. I wrote about them, talking to their families, and 1 full page was given to me. So I started my journalism career as writing an obit column. And, then I never looked back after that, because then, so most of these things are there. So what was the question? I'm sorry, I just went off.
What's the suggestion for students
for
to
the
become
freelance writer? Yeah. So freelance writers, it is a very tough field. Let me tell you, there are a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, to break into freelance journalism, right now, see, I'm a freelance journalist, but after I gave up my job last year, I've been doing many other things. I write for my own, pleasure of writing. So I blog and I post my views on Facebook. But to build a reputation as a freelance journalist is extremely tough, extremely tough. Let me tell you this. But after having said all this, if you want to make a mark as a freelance writer, which there are many journalists whom I know, freelance writer journalists whom I know, you have to be writing very well. That is the only way on subjects of interest, because during my last interaction with the Canara Bank School of Students, there were many who did ask me these questions about what they can do as freelance journalists on the topics that you have specialized in. There is business journalism, for instance. So if you are in a company, if you can write something good, and networking is the most important thing. You need to have a good network to break in first. If you have somebody then that is the best way you can break in to become a freelance journalist and do what you're doing. Because freelance journalism, let me tell you, doesn't pay much. You have to reach that level. There are some of the most famous freelance journalists that I can straight away think of now is Shobha Day, is one of the most famous freelance journalists, because she contributes to many newspapers. There are people who have retired who are still contributing, who earn very good, but you have to reach that level. But till then, it's a hard struggle. Many of your pieces will be rejected, so you have to be at it. And the only way that helps you keep writing and being at it is you will improve yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. We'll take the last question for the session. To what extent is the role of social media valid in a crisis situation? And what should I do if my competitor is involved in the crisis? This is from Afreen Fatima.
See, obviously, this is a man-eat-man world. So the competitors will always be there for you. It is just like let us compare. For instance, if you take politics, there are always the opposition and the ruling party, and there are many parties. So how do you handle this? If you are in a company where your competitor is there, the only way if something goes wrong with your company and your product, competitor is doing the same thing is, as I've always said, be truthful. The moment you try to hide things, then you are in serious trouble, because as journalists, let me tell you, we can dig out anything and everything under the sun. So we know what is, I can easily talk to people with my contacts. If a company that is in a crisis, if they try to hide things, then obviously the other company, which is a competitor, will tell me all the things about that company that is there, that might have gone wrong, but they are not revealing it to you. So we will write about both the sides. If you are a fair newspaper, then you present both the sides. But unfortunately, many times, most of the journalists are lazy. They don't talk to both the sides. They just listen to one side, right? Then they will take their own time to do what they want. So that is the problem that we face. So if there is a competitor, the only way out is, if something has gone wrong with your company, be bold and say this is what has happened and this is how we do it. Because we see many car companies, how if something is wrong with the part and then they have launched the cars, then how they withdraw the whole this thing and lose a lot.
We had Volkswagen once.
Yeah.
We had a case of Volkswagen earlier.
Yes, Volkswagen is a good example. Volkswagen is a very good example where they withdrew the cars. So you have to be straight. That's the only way you have to withstand the losses. You have the capacity, do it. So if the competitor is there, as Professor Reena rightly pointed out, Volkswagen, because there are so many brands of cars, but the Volkswagen had the guts to say there is a problem with the car, let us withdraw it.
Thank you, sir. We have one last question from Shubham Rai, and he says, which type of writing career has greater scope and will boom in this industry?
In this?
Industry. Which type?
See, there is no such thing as one field or another. Because see, if you see a newspaper, for instance, since you are talking about a writing career, you see all the pages. You have the lead page, then you have the Mafusal pages 2 and 3. The first page is the lead page. Then you have the Mafusal pages. What does Mafusal pages means? Suppose I am in Mysore as a journalist. I am in Mysore. You have page 2 and 3. But now things have changed because of Corona. The number of pages is reduced. So they club, many things. For instance, when I was working as a chief of bureau in Mysore, we had a Mysore page. So we used to do only Mysore stories. Then I was also in charge of Kodagu and Mandya and some of these districts. So all the stories of this would come in page 2 and 3. Then page 4, 5, you had the state page. Then you had the national page. Then the foreign pages. Then you had the edit page. Then you had the panorama page. So all these are there. Of course, the most important thing, the business page and the sports page. So there is no such thing as somebody telling that, there is, you have to, it all depends on what your interests are. As since some of you are MBA students, for instance, business journalism is one of the way forward because there is a lot of scope to write for a business journalist. They do look for business journalists because many times you don't get good business journalists. So if you are a good writer, of business journalism, then that is one way. But if you are interested, for instance, like me who loves interviews and all that, then there are other pages. For instance, if you are a sports journalist, then the sky is the limit. If you become a sports journalist, then of course now all the places have cut down. Earlier, most of the newspapers would send their photographers and their journalists to all the, especially when cricket was going on, to all the countries, Australia, England, New Zealand, West Indies, they would send, but now they have cut down. The photographers are also, they are not sending, so there is a lot of cost cutting that is happening everywhere. But there is no such thing as specialization. You have to decide in what you are good at and embark on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. For the information of the participants, Afzal sir would be sharing the feedback link. So we request all the participants to click on the link and share your feedback to receive your e-certificates.
Somebody asked a question, Reena, yes. One last thing I think somebody asked, what if your competitor is cheating and if you know about it?
Yes, sir, yeah.
That's that's an interesting question, actually.
Yeah.
See, what happens is if your competitor is cheating and you know about it, you cannot come to the media straight away and talk about it. Let me tell you that very clearly. That has to be handled in its own way. You have to handle it in, bring it to the, for instance, you have, you have trade manufacturers, you have automobile manufacturers here, there. So you have to bring it to the association and tell them that this is what is happening. And if still it goes on, then you call for a press conference and tells this is what has happened. So straight away you can't, if you know that your competitor is cheating, this is what you need to do. This, for instance, let me give you the simple example now. I'm glad you asked this question. Chinese products. Ganesha has come from China. Mm-hmm. Now Ganesh Chaturthi is coming now. Now they have banned Chinese items. Where were we? Why were we sleeping all these years? Why didn't we think of this? You go to the US, I went to the US for the first time in 2016. I went to the Statue of Liberty, bought the souvenir there. I turned back and see made in China. I was so disappointed. Statue of Liberty made in China. Ganesha made in China. Where are we? So we have to, these are all things that have happened. So we have to wake up. So if somebody is cheating, there is no way you can, sing and do it. So that's not correct. It's, again, these are all ethical things that we need to do. And, then there is also this famous saying, Hammam mein sab nange hai. So all of us are there, and there is one more, honor among the thieves. So these are all there. As journalists, we have honor among the thieves. As manufacturers, they have honor among the thieves. As professors, they have, everybody has. So only when things get out of hand, then you need to do something. Otherwise, these things are better handled at the level that it is there. That's my thing. I'm glad he asked that question. Sorry, I just took a little more time.
No problem, sir. I think that's the last question.
Okay.
Thank you so much for patiently taking all the questions and answering it, sir. For the information of the participants, the feedback link would be shared. Kindly click on the link to receive your e-certificates. So as we conclude the session, I would like to propose a vote of thanks. I profusely thank Mr. N. Niranjan Nikam. Sir has kindly consented to be the resource person for this webinar, and I'm sure that his talk has provided a deeper understanding for all our students on how powerful media is, the job opportunities in the media industry, and the intricacies of careful media management, especially during crises facing an organization. Being honest, present information clearly, spokespersons of the company being calm and communicating facts clearly. These are some of the takeaways that we all learned from Sir's message today. So thank you so very much. We are so grateful immensely, Sir, for sharing your knowledge and insights with us. Thanks so much for being with us. We are thankful to the management of Indian Academy Group of Institutions, especially our chairman, Dr. T. Somsekhar, for providing us encouragement and resources to organize such events. We are thankful to our director, Dr. Srinidhi K. Parthasarathy, for extending his able guidance and leadership for all our endeavors. Dr. Cynthia Meneses Prabhu, professor at Bangalore University Central Campus, for her kind support in helping us arrange this event. Our gratitude to Professor Geeta Ravi, HOD, Department of English, Professor Manasa, for encouraging their students also to be a part of this webinar. And we are extremely thankful to each and every participant who has attended this particular session. And we are hopeful that you would continue to be a part of all our future initiatives as well. Thank you, dear participants. As informed, please click on the feedback link to receive your e-certificates.
Thank you so much, Professor Reena and the Management Studies. I'm really grateful that you gave me this opportunity to share whatever I have. I hope I have made a little difference to the students and to some of the participants. I thank you once again, Professor Reena and your team. Professor
Yes, sir. Thank you.